Prepare for a 10-minute descent into a biological mystery that made scientists look like complete amateurs for over 7 decades. This is a story about a creature so bizarre it feels like it swam right out of a science fiction movie and into the darkest corners of our own planet. Before we dive into the full narrative, let's get you up to speed with a quick recap, because you need to understand just how strange this thing is. Imagine a fish. Now imagine its forehead is a transparent, fluid-filled dome like a glass cockpit on a fighter jet. Through this clear shield, you can see its internal organs, its brain, and most shockingly, its actual eyes. These aren't the 2 little dots on the front of its face that you might mistake for eyes. No, its real eyes are a pair of glowing, green, barrel-shaped orbs located deep inside its skull. These incredible eyes can rotate, allowing the fish to look straight up through the top of its own head, or swivel forward to see what's in front of it. For 70 long years after its discovery, we got this fish completely wrong. Every time scientists brought one to the surface in their nets, the intense pressure change would destroy its delicate, transparent head. What they saw was a mangled, seemingly blind, and frankly ugly creature with a collapsed skull. They thought its eyes were the 2 tiny nostril-like pits on its snout, which would have made it effectively blind and left them wondering how it even survived. They named it the Pacific barreleye, or *Macropina microstoma*, and for decades it remained a baffling, disfigured enigma. We thought it was a flawed specimen, a biological dead end. The truth, however, is that it's a masterpiece of weirdness, a perfectly adapted marvel of the deep. So now, let's begin the real story of the barreleye fish and how it outsmarted us for the better part of a century. Our story takes place in a realm known as the twilight zone of the ocean, technically called the mesopelagic zone. We're talking about depths between 2,000 and 3,000 feet down, or about 600 to 1,000 meters. Down here, sunlight is a distant memory. The crushing pressure is immense, and the water is perpetually cold, just above freezing. This is a world of shadows, silhouettes, and faint, ghostly light. Life here has to be tough, resourceful, and often very, very strange. This is the home of the barreleye. For a long time after its initial discovery in 1939, the central mystery was simple: how does this fish survive? Looking at the damaged specimens, scientists saw those 2 small sensory organs, called nares, on the front of its snout and assumed they were its eyes. With eyes that small and forward-facing in a world of near-total darkness, the fish would have been functionally blind. It just didn't make any sense. How could it find food? How could it avoid becoming food? It was a puzzle wrapped in an enigma, hidden in the deep sea. The key to solving it was sitting right there inside its head, but we just couldn't see it yet. The breakthrough came in 2004 when researchers from the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute, or MBARI, finally managed to observe a living barreleye in its natural habitat using a remotely operated vehicle, or ROV. What they saw changed everything. That fluid-filled dome on its head wasn't a deformity, it was a feature. It was a completely transparent shield, a window into its own skull. And inside that window were the real eyes, those magnificent, tubular, glowing green orbs. These aren't just any eyes. They are ultra-sensitive light-collecting machines, perfectly engineered for the twilight zone. The barrel shape gives them an enormous field of view, and they are pointed permanently upwards, scanning the water column above. Why upwards? Because in the twilight zone, the most reliable way to spot something is to see its silhouette against the faint, dwindling sunlight from the surface. The barreleye spends most of its life hovering almost motionlessly in the water, using its large, flat fins for stability, just waiting and watching. But there's another layer to this. The green pigment in its eyes acts as a very specific filter. It's designed to screen out the ambient sunlight from above. This might sound counterintuitive, but it's genius. By filtering out the background solar light, the barreleye's eyes become exceptionally good at detecting one thing: bioluminescence. The faint flashes and glows produced by other deep-sea creatures, especially its primary food source, jellyfish and other gelatinous animals. This brings us to the barreleye's very specific and rather sneaky lifestyle. It's not just a passive observer. It's a highly specialized thief. Its main target is a type of colonial jellyfish-like animal called a siphonophore. Siphonophores can grow to incredible lengths, sometimes over 100 feet, and they drift through the darkness like living fishing nets. their long, stinging tentacles trailing below them to catch unsuspecting prey like small crustaceans and fish. The barreleye has figured out a way to exploit this. It hovers patiently beneath the siphonophore, its upward-facing eyes looking right through its own transparent head, watching the siphonophore's tentacles. It waits and watches, completely protected, until the siphonophore catches a snack. When a small creature gets tangled in the stinging arms, the barreleye makes its move. With a burst of speed from its powerful fins, it darts upward. Now this is where the rotating eyes come into play. As it moves in to steal the meal, its eyes swivel forward, allowing it to lock onto its target with precision. It deftly plucks the captured prey right out of the siphonophore's tentacles, getting a free meal without having to do any of the hard work of hunting. And this is where the transparent shield comes back into the story. That clear dome over its eyes and head isn't just for show. It's a full-face protective shield, like built-in safety goggles. It protects the barreleye's incredibly sensitive eyes from the stinging cells, or nematocysts, of the siphonophore's tentacles as it goes in for the heist. So let's put it all together. This is a fish that has evolved a transparent, fluid-filled forehead. It has internal, rotating, light-filtering eyes that can look through the top of its own skull. It uses this incredible system to spy on giant jellyfish, waiting for them to catch food. Then it uses its built-in protective face shield to swim up and steal that food right from their stinging tentacles. It is a professional deep-sea food thief with its own integrated safety equipment. This story is 100% factual. The science is real, but the situation is so absurd it sounds like a tall tale. It's a perfect example of how extreme environments drive extreme evolution. Only in the perpetual gloom of the deep sea could a fish evolve a windshield for a face, just to become a more efficient bully. For 70 years, we thought it was a mistake of nature. It turns out it was just smarter than we were. The abyss is full of secrets, and every time we think we have it figured out, it throws something like the barreleye at us, proving that the deep ocean is basically just a giant, dark, and elaborate prank on humanity. And we're just beginning to get the joke. Thanks for joining this deep dive into one of the ocean's weirdest residents. If you love stories that prove reality is stranger than fiction, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for more tales from the abyss. We'll see you in the next one.